بسم الله.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي علا في توحده ودنا في تفرده وجل في سلطانه وعظم في أركانه الذي لا يدركه بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفطن الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود فطر الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته ووتد بالصخور ميدان عرضه ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
قال الله تبارك وتعالى في محكم تنزيله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
For the love of our beloved mother, the Lady of Light, Fatima Zahra, with the loudness of our voices, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to extend my felicitation to the Imam of our time, Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, Arwahuna lahu al-Fida.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
And to our great scholars, our Maraji, and to the lovers and the followers of Ahl al-Bayt across the globe, on the occasion of the birth anniversary of our beloved mother, Fatima Zahra, Salamullahi alayha.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Without a shadow of doubt, as we all know, today or tonight is regarded as one of the most important nights in the sense that it is International Women's Day, according to our understanding and according to our teachings. Some refer to it as International Mother's Day, because as we discussed in our previous discussions during the departure of Fatima Zahra, Fatima as mother, Fatima as daughter, and Fatima as wife, if you want a model for good mother or model for good wife, you have to go back to Fatima Zahra, Salamullahi alayha.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Therefore, it is the best day to celebrate Women's Day, and it is the best day to celebrate Mother's Day. Although today you find, even we those who claim to love Ahl al-Bayt, we celebrate other Women's Day rather than celebrating it on the birth anniversary of Fatima Zahra. When other Women's Day are coming or other Mother's Day are coming, women are expecting their husband to give them some gifts. But this is the best day and the best night that especially our mothers and our wives should come out and celebrate it, to show to the world that indeed we are celebrating the life of the greatest personality on the face of the universe. Tonight, inshallah, we're going to discuss the question of Ifa. Ifa means modesty and chastity. And we'll learn some lessons from the life of our beloved mother, Fatima Zahra, Salamullahi alayha.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Because many a times we realize that we claim to love Fatima, but we are not modest in our approach of life, especially some of our mothers and our sisters and our wives. We claim to love Fatima, but when we look at the way we dress, we are not modest, we are not copying from Fatima Zahra. Therefore, tonight, inshallah, I want you to lend me your hearing. Let us discuss this subject of Ifa, the subject of chastity and the subject of modesty. Then we realize how important it is for both males and females to become modest, for both males and females to take role model. And the best wasalam. Therefore, the verse we just quoted, where Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala said in Quran, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu taqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala in this verse is not calling any person, it's calling those who have the taqwa. Then immediately after that he said, kunu ma'as sadiqin, be with the truthful. So today let us look at what are the qualities and the characteristics of those who are truthful in the eye of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then if we understand that, then you try as much as you can to follow those who are truthful. Don't follow those who are not truthful. And as we said, pious people or righteous people, Quran outline their qualities and characteristics. One of the qualities of the pious ones is that they are modest. And you realize in the riwayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, Imam Amir said, Afdalul ibadah al-afaf. The best of all worships is modesty. Yani whatever you do in your life, as we're going to explain the categorizations of modesties, you realize that that is the best form of worship in the eye of Almighty Allah. No matter how you claim to worship Allah, if you are not modest in the way you approach Allah, Allah will not accept your ibadah. Therefore, al-afaf. The best form of worship is al-afaf, is to be modest, is to have a chastity in your life. Therefore, when you go to Nahjul Balagha, there is this khutbah, I'm sure most of you pass by that khutbah. They call it khutbatul muttaqin, the khutbah of the righteous ones, where Mawlai Kainat outline the qualities of the pious ones. Yani you claim to be pious person, go to Nahjul Balagha, read that khutbah of Imam Amir. You realize that Imam outlined who are pious, who are muttaqin. One of their qualities, listen very carefully, brothers and sisters. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, Anfusuhum afifa. Imam said their souls are modest. And we'll explain what does it mean when Islam says your soul is modest. Some ulama interpreted by saying, whatever they do in their approach, they are modest. They are modest in their dress code. They are modest in the way they talk. They are modest in the way they interact with one another. Therefore, Rasulullah came forward and said, فَأَمَّا الْعَفَافِ فَيَتَشَعَّبُ مِنْهَا أَكْثَرُ الْأَشْيَاءِ. He said, you see, modesty, every good attitude and behavior comes from modesty. Rasulullah said, one of the things that comes out of modesty is humility. And one of the things that comes out of modesty is sincerity. And as I'll explain later, some of our women who don't wear hijab, we tell them where they say, oh, my heart is clean. We'll explain later. Your heart is clean. Here Rasulullah is saying, if you are modest within yourself, your outside also there will be modesty in it. You cannot wear hijab and you are telling me you are better than the one who wears hijab. Therefore Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi said, يَتَشَعَّبُ مِنْهُ الْأَشْيَاءِ. Good things emanate from modesty. And one of them is that the ridallah, the acceptance of Allah's decision and decree. Once a person is modest in his approach, he accepts every command and decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today realize that a Muslim will say, I accept this one, I don't accept this one. Some people, they follow Islam when it suits them. If it doesn't suit them, they don't follow. They follow Islam when it's good for them. If it's not good, they don't follow. But Rasulullah is saying modesty is such a quality that helps a person to follow all the command and the teachings of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore you realize our beloved Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam always in his salah, he used to make this dua. Allahumma inni as'aluka al-huda wa-tuqa wal-ifafa wal-ghina. Prophet used to make the dua in salah. Oh Allah, I ask you at-tuqa, taqwa. Al-huda, I ask you guidance. Wal-ifafa, Rasulullah said, oh Allah, I ask you to make me modest. Wal-ghina, and richness. So therefore Prophet alayhi salam والسلام used to ask Allah to make him modest, to tell you that modesty is what is needed in your worship. Whatever you do, if it is void of modesty, Allah does not accept it, Allah. Therefore, what is the meaning of modesty in Islam? Modesty simply means to have control, to be in charge. Most of us, we are not in charge of ourselves. It's either dunya control us, or the community we are within control us, or our wealth control us, or people's dress code control how we dress, or people's type of a food control the type of food we eat. Modesty in Islam is not like that. You become in charge of your affairs and happiness based on your understanding of the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore it is said, modesty starts from within. It doesn't start from outside. You become modest inside, then your outside will show you are modest. In other words, your inside is the criteria for your outside. If the inside is rotten, outside is rotten. If the inside is clean and pure, outside will be clean and pure. Therefore, Islam came forward and said, modesty emanates from inside, and you have 4 types of modesty, and that is what I want to discuss with you tonight, based on the life of our beloved mother, FATEMA Zahra, salamullahi alayha.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The first type of modesty is self-modesty. Or ulama they said it's the modesty which is associated to desire. You see, Quran is very clear. Allah desire to establish a society and community. But Allah wants to establish a society and a community where desires are not controlling people. Allah wants a community where people are in charge and in control of their desires. But when you have a community where people are not in charge of their desire, and desire has a lot of branches, if people are not in control of their desires, then the community will not be healthy and sound community. But if you have a community where each and every person is in control of his desire, then that community will be sound and healthy community in the eye of Allah. Therefore, you realize Quran. What does Quran say? Quran said there are some people who, especially who are not married, sometimes desire disturbs them. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, when it comes to Quran, says, وَلْيَسْتَعْفِفِ الَّذِينَ لَا يَجِدُونَ نِكَاحًا حَتَّى يُغْنِيهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. Those who are not married, they should be modest in their approach of life until Almighty Allah bless them out of His bounties and mercy. And then the Quran taught us how to be modest in all spheres of our life. You know, the first form of modesty, which I want my mothers to listen very carefully, is that Allah came forward and addressed the wives of Rasulullah. He said, فَلَا تَخْدَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ فَيَتْمَعَ الَّذِي فِي قَلْبِهِ مَرَضٌ وَقُلْنَ قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. He said, you the wives of prophets, you know the aim of Allah is to build a sound community, is to build sound society, is to have a society where people are in charge of their desires. Now, you wife of the prophet, women, when you go out to talk to men, don't talk to them in a sweet tongue. You know, today you find some women, Shias, the way they will twist their tongue even on phone, that brings about desire. Quran said, فَلَا تَخْدَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ. You talk normally. Don't talk, twist your tongue, because sometimes it's not only because of you. The one who is listening to you might be a weak person. And as a result of your approach to that person, the person will commit a sin against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So number one, Allah said, فَلَا تَخْدَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ. You women, when you talk to men, be modest in the way you talk. Don't become too sweety in the way you talk, because not every man is God-fearing man. In fact, even some God-fearing man, so long as you twist the mouth, you know shaitan can come easily. Number two, Allah taught us in Quran, and this is what at the end I will link it to the life of FATEMA Zahra and you'll understand. Allah said, you women, When they walk past men, the way they walk, it's ajib. Now look at Quran. When Musa alayhi salatu was salam met the children of Yaqub, now Shu'aib alayhi salam, they went and informed Shu'aib that Musa is a good Samaritan. Isn't it Quran mentioned? So he sent the daughter, who eventually became the wife of Musa alayhi salam, go and tell him to come, I want to reward him. To reward him for giving you the water. So now Quran said, وَهِيَ تَمْشِي عَلَى الْإِسْتِحْيَاءِ. When that young girl was walking back to Musa, she was walking humbly. And the head was down. Not you glare the face of a man. Not you walk in front of a man. This is what Quran is telling us. As a woman, when you walk past men, walk humbly. When you walk past men, walk modestly. Tamshi ala al-istihya. By so doing, you are able to curb the trend of affair, and you are able to curb the disease of desire in the community, in the society. The third one is where I'm coming. Where Quran mentioned your zina, your beauty as a woman and man. Know where you display and showcase your beauty. Because if you do not know how to showcase your beauty, there are people of weak heart, desire will control them. And they will start thinking evil. Therefore, Quran said, one of the ways to overcome that problem, you as a woman, you as man, dress in a nice way. And if you dress in a nice way, know the people you show them your beauty, and those you are not supposed to show them your beauty. Now look at chapter 9, verse 30 and 31. Allah address men and address women. What does Allah say when he addresses men? He said, كُلِّ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُمْ وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. Allah said to Rasulullah, O Prophet, advise the believing men, you men. Sometimes you go to club, you mix too much. Don't mix. Put boundaries and limitations. That's Islam. That's Islam. Sometimes you go for wedding, you mix too much. This one sitting with his wife, this one sitting. He said, no, it's my wife. No, 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 no. Your wife, the other woman is glaring on her face. And the other man is glaring. Islam is not like that. And that is not backwardness, That is development, that is progress. Therefore, Quran said, you believe in men. Gaze down. Especially when you are in the midst of women. Gaze down. And protect and safeguard your modesty. That will make them pure and provide them purity from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, as man, gaze down. When you are in the midst of woman, no jiggling too much, you open the whole teeth. Islam is not like that. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Quran said, gaze down, you as man. When you gaze down, then you will get piety. And Allah will provide you with taqwa. Now look at women. وَكُلِّ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَقْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ. You can check that verse when you go back to no. 30:31. Oh Prophet, tell believing women. And I want everybody to listen very carefully. يَقْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ. They must gaze down, the ladies. You are in the club, fine, no problem. Engagement, no problem. Marriage, cake, celebration, no problem. But know your limitations as Muslims, as believers. We are Muslims and we have boundaries. Don't get excited and go out of the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wherever you are, be conscious. So Allah is telling me and you, we are all part of it. يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ. They should safeguard their modesty, those women. put burqa. If you don't want to put burqa, it's not a big deal. Your palm, no need to put a glove, no problem. These are the places where you are allowed to show. When it comes to socks, there are differences of opinion between the scholars. But Quran is telling you, believe in woman. Gaze down, don't show the beauty, except what comes out only. Then look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا لِبُعُولَتِهِنَّ. Oh women, don't show your beauty except your husband's. One. What is the beauty? Neck. Woman's neck is beauty. Today some women they wear and their neck is out. Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Lava of Fatima to Zahra. Celebration of Fatima for what then? Woman's neck is beauty. Woman's occupies a higher prominent position in the eye of Allah than men. They said woman is the manifestation of attribute of beauty and glory at the same time. But man in most cases is the manifestation of only attribute of glory. They said woman in Irfan, when you understand the woman, it's easy to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now Prophet Allah is telling us in Quran, do not demonstrate and show your beauty. Your hair today, they have this type of headscarf. All half of the hair is out, BIBI. Allah said, don't show to anyone, number one, illa libu'ulatihinna, your husband. Our aba'ihinna, all your fathers, your father, no problem. Our aba'i bu'ulatihinna, all the fathers of your husband. Yani your father-in-law, there's no problem. Uncle Noah. Uncle no. Today you find people, they say these are in-laws, the way they make it are cheap. Not every in-law is your mahram or no mahram. We have certain in-laws, they are capable to marry you afterwards also. Therefore, Islamic boundary is what we need to know. Our abai our abnaihinna, or your sons. Woman, your son, no problem. Your hair is uncovered, your cheek, whatever, no problem. Our abnaihinna, or the sons of their husbands. Quran said no problem. Our ikhwanihinna, or their brothers. Your brother comes to no problem, is your brother. Our bani ikhwanihinna, or the sons of your brothers, no problem. Then God said, our bani akhwatihinna, or the sons of your sisters. Our ma'amalakat aymanuhunna, that is that time where there are slaves. When the slaves come, they said if there are slaves who they don't have this desire, no problem. Our tiflu alladhi lam yadhhar ala awrati nisa, or small young children who are not clever. Today Fiqh said, if a child is not mature, yani he has not reached that age, but is too clever, you must put hijab as woman. It's not a matter of age anymore. A child, is very clever boy, and alhamdulillah, children of today are very clever. And this child is not my son, it's not my uncle, it's nothing. You have to cover decently. And this is the zina that Allah is talking about. Apart from this category, nobody you should show your beauty as a woman too. You show it, it is regarded as haram, and you will be questionable in the eye of Allah on the day of Qiyamah. Therefore, modesty is very, very important. Let us all know our limitation. Quran, Islam, you have a riwayah that says a woman who goes out of her house without hijab, and she comes out without hijab, the curse of Allah is on her. And Allah will deprive her of his rahmah. Rahmah of Allah, she will be deprived of. And of course, when you go deeper into that, there are certain spiritual sickness that affect Muslim women who do not observe hijab. Sometimes in a family, a person is examined with certain problem, you try every look, you cannot feel. One of them you can trace it is in the lack of proper hijab. Because lack of proper hijab by a Muslim attract bad image and bad spirits, and poor and negative power comes to the house. That's the Muslim. So therefore, Islam came forward and told us, this is where you show your beauty, this is where you are not supposed to show your beauty. That is why one day our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa Fadl ibn Abbas. He was standing with Fadl, and then as he was moving with Fadl, Fadl saw a woman, and he glared at that woman. He kept on looking at that woman. Rasulullah then and he saw him. Then Rasulullah did his palm like this, and he put and placed it on the face of Fadl. He said, Fadl, you are making haram. You are depriving yourself of the mercy and the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same thing Mawlai Kainat is reported. One day Mawlai Kainat was in Tawaf. As he was busy making Tawaf, he saw a person who was looking at another woman. He kept on looking. Mawlai Kainat went close to him and he put his hand on his face and said, it's haram, stop that. So therefore these are the boundaries of Islam that Muslims we need to know. Not when it suits us we do. It doesn't let nobody care. Islam is not like that. You have to be Muslim wherever you are. You have to be Muslim in the house. You have to be Muslim anywhere you are. In fact, lack of hijab made the Prophet to expel the tribe of Kainuqa from Medina. He moved them out of Medina. One day, a young Muslim girl wore proper hijab, and she went to the market of Yahoo in Medina al-Munawwar. As she was there, they didn't like the hijab, so they were teasing this girl. So one of them held one part of the hijab and he hung it by a nail. So that girl didn't know. As she was moving, the whole head came out and the scarf went out. So they started laughing, jiggling and laughing. Now this girl started crying. The message went to Rasulullah. Rasulullah came and he started advising them. They were not taking heed to the advice of Rasulullah. Rasulullah said, no, Medina is not a town to uncover a woman. I ask you to go out of Medina because this is the house of mercy and the house of rahmah. But now let us come to the life of our beloved mother, Fatima al-Zahra. Fatima al-Zahra, salamullahi alayha, taught us how to be modest in her life. And the first way she taught us how to be modest was when Fatima got married. Immediately they took her home. As we said that, and the next day Rasulullah visited Fatima al-Zahra. When he visited her and Amir al-Mu'mineen, he sat down with them and he said to them, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali, Ya Fatima, I'm sharing the duty between you and her. I want you to listen to this part very carefully. Amir al-Mu'mineen asked Rasulullah, what is my duty and what will be the duty of Fatima? Rasulullah said, the interior affairs is in the hand of Fatima. And the external affairs is in the hand of you, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Now listen very carefully. Now Fatima al-Zahra, salamullahi alayha, when she heard her father say, she looked at the face of the father. And she said, Wallah, I've never been happier than today. Then the father asked her why. Said, because you have protected me from going out mixing with other men. It doesn't mean that women does not have social responsibilities. No. You have social responsibilities to play, but know your limitation when you play those responsibilities. Example, Fatima al-Zahra, salamullahi alayha, went out and defended Amir al-Mu'mineen, isn't it? She went out and gave a khutbah. She went out and spoke, isn't it? But that doesn't mean that Fatima went out anyhow, no. She went out modestly. She went out in a proper way. She went out with a full hijab. She went out and spoke to those people nicely. Therefore, some women, during the lifetime of Rasulullah, came to our beloved Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, men are going for jihad. We also want to go for jihad. What are you leaving us? Then Rasulullah said, Inna jihad al-mar'a husnu tabaqqul li zawjiha. The jihad of a woman is to become a good husband to her husband, good wife to her husband. But if you become good wife to your husband, you get similar reward that the men are getting who are on the jihad field. That doesn't mean that you don't have social, you can go out, you can go and do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, you must know your limitation. Today you see women, they are raising shoulders with men. Men are seeing their women and they are laughing. Ajib. That is why we are deprived of rahmah. We are deprived of mercy. We are deprived of God's benediction. We are not adhering to the limitation of Islam. We claim to love Fatima al-Zahra when our actions are totally against the action of Fatima al-Zahra. If your inner is clean, your outer will be clean. The the mandate is from inside and not from outside. No room to say there are women who are wearing hijab but they are worse than me. You think of yourself. Nobody will carry each other's load. وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. We will never punish until we send a messenger. Rasul was our messenger. Amir al-Mu'minin is a messenger. Scholars sitting on the member are messengers. We are messengers to you to give you the glad tidings and the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who follow the message of Allah will get the mercy of Allah. Some people come and ask, but Sheikh, what is the philosophy of this hijab? I said, for how long have you been a Muslim? He said, no, I was born a Muslim. Born Muslim, no hijab. So still you don't understand hijab. I said, no, I break my salah. My heart is too clean. It's not a big deal, my heart. Are you, your heart, is it cleaner than the heart of Fatima al-Zahra? When Riwayah told us, when she went out to give the khutbah in the mosque, she was in full hijab. But not only in full hijab. Fatima did not stood in front of them and face them. Some scholars said if it doesn't cause fitna, no problem. But Fatima salamullahi alayha did not stand in front of those men. She gave the khutbah behind the bed. Today women, they say we are going Khoshali. Khoshali dress properly, no problem, is good. But when you come out with no mahram, men who are not part of those categories which are explained, keep your chastity and modesty. That is where your dignity lies. Scientifically it has been proven. Body cancer is caused by what? You can make your own research. Some of the body cancers are caused by a woman exposing herself to the world. Her ornament, her beauty is totally out. No dignity, no respect. You know, somebody came to one scholar. When he visited the scholar, he's not Muslim. So he started asking questions about Islam. The first question I asked him is, why women have to cover? Why? Their heart is okay, why should they cover? So this person, even if this method, they are passing it on the social networks today. He had, this Maulana had 2 toffees. And he opened one toffee. Opened completely. Then he threw all the toffee on the ground. So he asked, one is open, one not open. So he asked this guy, the Christian guy who was inquiring, which one do you want if I have to give you a gift? He said, no, the one which is not open. He said, of course, why? He said, because this is too dirty, I cannot take it. So he said, of course, Muslim woman also has to cover, because the one who covers, she lost the dignity. So Quran gives knowledge. And Fatima al-Zahra was always in her hijab. So whoever claimed to love Fatima, you claim that Fatima is your role model. You want to meet the Shafa'a of Fatima on the day of Qiyamah. What do you do? Emulate Fatima. باو تجر وباو لا تجر. حفظت شيئا وغاب عنك أشياء. You memorize something and certain things you don't want because this is good for me, this is not good for me. Islam, you cannot do that. So therefore the first modesty according to Islam is that which curb the desire. Sometimes they tell me, no, me I dress the way I want, there's no problem. So no, it's not only you. Who knows who is next to you? How he feels? How the shaitan is playing in his mind, up and down. The person might commit a sin because of you. Therefore Allah, Rasulullah, and Ahlul Bayt say the Kaaba. And if you are in the gathering where there are men also, you have to cover. That is number one, modesty. So Fatima taught us as women, we should wear our hijab properly. Wherever you are, don't wear tight-fitting as women. Tight-fitting is not hijab. It's totally against hijab. Wear something bola. That is the hijab of Islam, which does not show you. That is what will trigger the rahmah of Allah. And that is what will help you. That will be that you are emulating the life of our beloved Mother Zahra. So therefore I advise my mothers, and I advise my sisters, my aunties, and the husbands, and the brothers, do amr bil ma'roof وَالنَّحْيِ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Make sure you are proper Muslim, modest Muslim, chastity in your life. Then Fatima will smile looking at your face. You wanted to smile? Somebody came and asked me a question, a lady said, but I'm making my salah regularly. I know I make salah, so hijab, I don't think it's necessary. Me, if I go out, I don't feel anything. I asked her, do you believe in Allah? Do you believe in Rasulullah? So the Quran said you should wear them. If you believe in Allah, Allah said wear. If you believe in Rasulullah, Rasulullah said wear. So therefore, avoid this kind of gathering where there is mixing of men and women. Where people wear dress anyhow. That is totally against the etiquette that was taught by Fatima al-Zahra. Let's follow her. Don't follow her in something and leave her in something else. You will miss her shafa'ah on the day of Qiyamah. You are in a marriage, men decide, ladies decide. Don't say me, I'm with my wife and he is with his wife. But you are looking at my wife is looking at your wife. I'm not saying you're bad, I'm not saying I'm bad. But that is Islam. You never know what will go, so avoid any situation that will trigger doubt and difficulties. Once you avoid that, you are indeed the Shia of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Second, if modesty is modesty in wealth, which Fatima taught us to be modest in accumulating wealth of this world. Effatul man. What is modesty in wealth? There are four, but I will mention only these two and close. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, Al-afafu zinatul faqr. Said modesty is the beauty of poverty. You don't have, but nobody knows, because you are modest. You gentle, you humble. You don't sell yourself to him. You don't sell yourself to her. You don't become a literal beggar. You have to be modest in wealth. So look at the Quran. When Quran is talking about Ashab al-Saffa, go to Saudi, Medina, where the ledge is, but this ledge now they brought a little back before it used to be a little bit forward. There were many people who were poor, very poor people. But nobody knew in Medina they were poor except Rasulullah. So Rasulullah, what will do, he just built a small place for them where at night they would sleep. Sometimes Rasulullah would give them some dates and some milk. And sometimes he wouldn't have to give them. But Quran speaks about them. يَحْسَبُهُمُ الْأَغْنِيَاءَ مِنَ التَّعَفُّفِ Allahu Akbar. When everybody saw them in Medina, he was listing them among the rich ones because they were modest. Today, if a person doesn't have, you want to go to everybody. You are a Muslim, you have dignity. وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنْتُمْ مُؤْمِنِينَ إِنْ يَمْسَسْهُمْ مَكَرٌ فَقَدْ مَسَّ الْقَوْمَ كَرٌ مِثْلُهُ. You are superior if indeed you know the reason of being a believer. Allah said, if you are afflicted with pains and hardship, those before you were also afflicted with pains and hardship. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. This day is how we change it between people. Today it comes to Shahno, today it comes to you, the next day it goes to him. He said, borrow, Allah borrow to you, he borrow to me, he borrow me, he borrow you. So therefore, if you don't have, be satisfied. And that is what Islam taught us. Look at the life of Fatima. Then we conclude. Fatima al-Zahra, one day she visited Rasulullah. When she was going there, she was holding 2 pieces of bread, dry bread. She got to the house of Rasulullah and she said, I brought you this bread, oh my beloved father. Rasulullah looked at the face of Fatima, then tears started overflowing from the eyes of Rasulullah. Then Fatima said, Ya Abati, why are you crying, my father? He said, no, I'm crying because indeed, Fatima, you are the leader of the woman in Jannat al-Firdaus. Allahu Akbar. Now, you know Fatima, what she said to Rasulullah, this is what interests me. And this is where we
Rasulullah, oh Ya Abati, oh my beloved father, you know this bread that I brought you, it was for Hasanain. They started eating, then I asked them to stop because I know you had nothing to eat with you. Then Rasulullah looked at the face of Fatima. He said, oh my beloved daughter, Wallah, for the past 3 days I did not have bread. Modesty, يَحْسَبُهُمُ الْأَغْنِيَاءُ مِنَ التَّعَفُّفَ. You think they are rich because they are modest. Nobody hears their voice. They don't come and beg. They don't send a lot of WhatsApp messages asking, begging. Men, you must be a dignified movement. Don't beg. Yadullah, Yadul Uliya, Khayrun min Yadul Sufla. The upper hand is superior and better in the eye of Allah than the lower hand. Always dignified, dignity. Don't go every single person you meet you want to ask. Now you see Fatima Zahra, alayhi salatu wassalam, taught us, me and you, as He allowed us to be modest. If we don't have shukr to Allah, no food in the house. Mawlai Kainat Imam Ali said to his beloved wife, go to your father and ask for something. Fatima went out to the house of the Pharisees between Rasulullah and Fatima. Rasul would sometimes go to the house, Fatima would sometimes go to the house of Rasulullah. Now when Fatima went to the house of Rasulullah, the house was empty, there was nothing. If it was me, hey, I'm a Maulana, I found this rich man, please can you help me? I found the other rich man. Ahlul Bayt, you have to emulate them. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever solely know and depend on Allah, Allah is enough for you. You don't become a beggar. And that's the teachings of Ahlul Bayt and Fatima Zahra. Dignified, mu'min dignity. Don't sell yourself because you don't have what to eat. Know who you ask and know who you don't ask. You know, there are people today, they have attitude, You come to them, please, can you borrow me? He said, if you had come 2 hours ago, I was going to give you. And he knew he was not going to give you, even if you had come 2 hours ago. So Fatima, when she went to the house of Rasulullah, the father said, Fatima, I have nothing. But I have something which I want to give you. She asked the father, what do you have going to give me? He said, I have a dua. I have a dua. Ya Rabbal Awwaleen wal Akhirin. Ya Dhal Quwwat al Mateen. Ya Rahim al Masakin. Ya Arham al Rahimin. Oh, the Lord of the beginners and those who come after. There is a Ya Dhal Quwwat al Mateen. Oh, the powerful one, Allah. Oh, the one who is merciful to those who do not have. And oh, the most merciful. Fatima took the dua and she went back home. This is where her modesty manifested itself. When she got back home, Mawlai Kainat Imam Ali opened the door. When Imam opened the door, he said, Fatima, where is the food? You went to bring something from your father. She said, no, I went looking for dunya, but I came with akhirah. Dunya akhirah. Tawakkal ala Allah. This is the chastity and the modesty of Fatima Zahra. So if you claim to love her, you must also be modest. In the way you present yourself in the community, in the way you talk to women, in the way you talk to men, in the way you handle your poverty and miskina, in the way you handle your richness, all corners you have to be modest. Once you are modest, Allah will shower you with His mercy and rahmah. You are modest, Allah will always open the way for you. And this is how Ahlul Bayt taught us to be. So therefore, brothers and sisters, let's take lessons from tonight's discourse. Tonight's discourse is, there are certain attitudes we need to change. Change is always difficult, but there is no any other way except to change. You have all the hujjah, you have Quran in your house. You have majalis every year. You have lectures on YouTube. Everybody is saying, these are all hujjah to say, I must emulate Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. So women who do not wear hijab, when she is in the midst of men, in the markets, ask Allah through the shafa and the haqq of Fatima Zahra that I want to start determining to wear I tell you, you will start wearing. Zainab defended hijab in the court of Yazid. Then what else? She stood there, she defended hijab. And what was the hijab? Just the face cover. For Zainab defended it. She defended it. Now if you are Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen, and that does not happen, then that's a problem. It's not too late. We can change. Let's change for better. Advise your aunties, I'm repeating. Advise your wives. Advise your sisters. Advise your daughters. Teach them, let them understand. That is the teachings of Islam. It has psychological effects. Very, very psychological effect lack of hijab have. It's either it affects you or affects somebody next to you in the family. One day we'll discuss about this. And I will tell you, it's so scary, some of this sickness that today women are examined with. Some of them are cause of this, and we have it in the riwayat of the spirituality of Ahlul Bayt, whereby we need to be careful on how we handle things. If we do that, Allah will shower His mercy upon us. We ask Allah to forgive us, inshallah. We ask Allah to increase the love of Fatima to Sahara in our hearts. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make it easy for us to attain the shafa of Fatima to Sahara on the day of Qiyamah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to let all our endeavors and happenings be in accordance to the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla, when our time is up for us to depart from this world, give us the exit of Muttaqeen al-Abrar, inshaAllah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi al-tahirin.